Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each week to bring you tasteful content,
but viewer discretion is advised.
Now enjoy the show.
We begin this week with a quick dip in the Atlantic with 4,000 of our closest friends.
We'll head to Princess Anne to get introduced to the world of Polocrosse.
We'll hit the ice in Easton with Scorchy Taws for a bit of wintertime fun.
And we'll take a tour of Cypress Swamp with Delaware Wild Lands.
Outdoors Delmarva starts right now.
Welcome to Outdoors Delmarva, the show that celebrates our communities, our cultures, and traditions in the places we call home. My name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch. And Jason, I'm going to kill him.
Who?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about my husband. Y'all are safe. I'm talking about that no good, winter extending flea bag, Punxsutawney Phil. Like, who even really likes winter? Like, honestly.
To Punxsutawney Phil, his friends, families, and admirers,
like, what are we doing for them? You know?
I would like to apologize for that very unprofessional outburst. You see, it's been a very long, hard winter, and we're all ready for poolside margaritas and flip-flops.
I want the warmth and the sun.
Some of us more than others.
This is Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here are Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
If you're going to jump in the ocean in February, you should make sure it's for a good reason.
And it should be done with about 4,000 other people, all at the same time. John, as far as Sunday mornings in February go, this isn't too bad.
It really isn't too bad. You know, the air temperature is going to be 41, the water is going to be 37 when we go in. A little bit of wind, but the sun is out, and it's certainly not as cold as it's been. And I think 10 days ago, this place was covered in snow. Yeah. So we've got about as perfect plunge weather as you can get.
I mean, you keep reminding me year after year when I keep doing this that the weather is good every time that I'm here, that I got to keep coming back. But I'm not the only one that keeps coming back. You have so many people that love this event, that can't wait for this event. They've got it bookmarked a year in advance. What does that mean for you?
Well, what it tells us is that people really truly believe in the cause of this event. And as I was talking to people earlier today, you know, people with disabilities, everybody knows somebody with a disability. And usually everybody knows somebody who's part of Special Olympics. And sometimes that's as an athlete, sometimes it's as a unified partner, sometimes it's as a volunteer or even as a volunteer coach. And so when you ask people to help you raise the money to be part of this event, it really becomes an easy ask for people. But the 4,000 people that actually go in the ocean, we give them all the credit. This is a grassroots fundraiser. And not everybody comes from Delaware, right, which is exciting, but the bulk of people come from the state of Delaware and all over the state of Delaware.
Okay, so freezing. And I think the water was stuck in the cinch part of my deer legs.
Look, last year it was 41 degrees in the water. This year was 37. 4 degrees is a huge difference.
It was like as soon as you started walking in, you could already see? Yeah, hi. The man who made us do this. Now
it's fun. I blame you. I'll do it again next year. Right? I mean, it's for a good cause, but yeah!
There were more than 4,400 polar bear plungers that day, and more than $1.2 million was raised for Special Olympics Delaware.
And contrary to all the times that I said I'll never do that again, I'll be back next year because it's worth it. Outdoors Delmarva continues right after these messages.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. higher standards.
You've probably heard of lacrosse and you've probably heard of polo.
But you're probably unfamiliar with Polocrosse. We'd like to introduce you to a young lady who is bringing the sport to our attention.
And doing so right here in our own backyard.
We've heard of polo, we've heard of lacrosse, but putting the two together to make Polocrosse, now that's something 14-year-old Lily is an expert at. Lily, tell us how you got started in this sport.
I started riding when I was 4, and then I started playing when I was 9, but I grew up showing English, just doing local shows, and then at a summer camp, we got introduced to Polocrosse, and I kind of just fell in love.
Now, is it the same kind of concept with lacrosse? You're using this racket here, right?
So the racket's very similar. I mean, the net's a little deeper.
So you're keeping the racket more up, like lacrosse would, and you're riding the horse.
People can hit your racket, so you want to kind of shelter it, but you can also cradle the ball. Can't cross your center line, so I'm left-handed.
Okay.
If I try to cross my center line, I get penalty. So when you hit, you have to just cradle. You can go back. Can't cross the back though.
And is it as long as your horse is moving? It's not like traveling or something like that?
No, you can move with the ball as long as you want, as long as you don't cross the out of bounds lines or the sidelines or the area.
All right. How many of you are on the field at the same time?
So there's 6 on a field, 3 on each team, and then there's 2 umpires and then 2 goaltenders on each side.
Okay. And you want to pass it, right, to your teammates?
So number 1 scores the goals. Number 2 is like offense and defense. They kind of, if you don't have the ball, you need to get the ball. If you have the ball, protect the ball, kind of thing. And then the 3 is the number 1's like defensive players. So they'll block them from shooting the goals, just try to get the ball.
Now, how do you train the horse to play Polocrosse?
So the horses have to be, we don't really want like a 17-hand horse because that'll be pretty hard to pick up the ball off. So we usually look for but you can play. All horses have played out there. I mean, there's been mules out there before. He is Australian stock horse. So our main breeds are like Australian stock horses, thoroughbreds, quarter horses, but anything can play. You want them to have good rate of pace so you can control them so they're not just booking it the whole time. You can change your rate of pace, have some nice stops, some nice rollbacks.
So talk about some of your recent accomplishments with it.
So recently I made the U16 team playing against Ireland, and I made the U19 team, which is outbound. We're going against the UK. And then in the past, I've made 2 U16 tours. One inbound against the UK, that was in 2023. And then 2024, we went outbound to Australia, Queensland, to play Queensland kids.
What are some of the dreams that you have in the future with this?
I want to go to the World Cup one day, eventually. And I just want to keep playing, training horses, eventually breed horses, and definitely World Cup though.
For those people who maybe this is something that they've never heard of and they're interested in it, what would you say to them?
Just do it, have fun. It's a lot of fun. The community is very nice. Everyone gives you tips, coaching, anything. It's all great.
We're going to follow Lily's progress as she continues her journey in representing Maryland in the world of Polocrosse.
You can follow along as well by checking out Willow Pond Polocrosse Club on Facebook.
We'll be right back.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
It's still very much wintertime here on Delmarva, and you might think there's not too much fun to be had.
We're taken to Easton to find some of that wintertime fun in this week's Remembering Scorchy Taws.
Honoring the life and legacy of Scorchy Taws, thanks to Shorts Marine in Long Neck, Delaware. Shorts Marine, everything but the water.
After a 5 years absence, we returned to Talbot Community Center in Easton to see how the curlers were doing. In case you've forgotten, or for that matter didn't even know, the only curling rink in the state of Maryland is right here. And again, just in case you're wondering, what in the world is curling? Our simplest explanation would be, it's a lot like shuffleboard, only it's played on ice and is a team sport, 4 to a side. It is truly a grand old game, having originated in Scotland in the mid-1700s. And on this day, some of the grand old players from this area were displaying their skills and extolling their sport.
Well, it's something you can do when you're this stage.
What stage is that?
Over 50.
The sport, in fact, knows no age bounds. From 9 to 90, you can find players delivering those 40-pound rocks wherever there's a rink.
Coach last year was over 80 and he had had a stroke, so it's a sport that you can keep doing indefinitely as long as you're willing to get out and slide around.
This was curling day for senior citizens at the Easton Rink. They are not in the same class as curling club team members with refined skills, and don't pretend to be. They are simply enjoying a novel way of combining exercise on ice with camaraderie and enjoying every minute of it. The newest member of the group puts the whole thing in perspective.
Well, I just retired here last summer, and since I can't sail my boat, what better sport can you have than curling in the wintertime? Nice people, I have a happy hour, what more could you ask for?
We'd say that just about covers it. Scorchy Taws wandering our Delmarva land for WBOC News.
Remembering Scorchy Taws is sponsored by Shorts Marine. Online at shortsmarine.com.
Did you know that the first snowplow was used in Milwaukee in 1862, and it was a horse-drawn cart and the blade was made of wood?
Did you know that snowplows were referenced as early as 1792, with a modern-day predecessor of wooden boards in a V-shape being utilized in New Hampshire?
And did you know that in 2020, the Minnesota Department of Transportation created a contest to name 8 of the state's snowplow trucks? Some of the winning entries included Plowy McPlowface, Snowby One Kenobi, F. Salt Fitzgerald, and Darth Blader.
Now you do.
Did You Know is sponsored by North Bay Marina. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. You're watching Outdoors Delmarva presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards.
The saying goes that they're not making any more land, so it's vitally important to protect the land that we do have for generations to come.
And that's why there's an organization called Delaware Wild Lands.
I gotta tell you, I learned so much today, but we have to let the viewers know what it is that Delaware Wild Lands is, how it came about, and what you guys do.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time today. Thanks for coming out. Delaware Wild Lands is the oldest and largest land trust in the state of Delaware. Our mission is to actively acquire and restore strategic parcels of land. And so what that means is that we look for opportunities of land around our existing land masses to be able to protect, so we can then expand on these large contiguous protected lands.
And that's through the entire state of Delaware?
It is, yes. We are statewide. We have land complexes in all 3 counties.
I told you when I first got here that I've traveled this road, this area, my entire life, and this is the first time that I realized that this office was here. So I love learning something new about my home states and about my home area, and this is very unique to not just Sussex County, not just Delaware, but also the entire Delmarva Peninsula.
It truly is. We are the largest, the Great Cypress Swamp's the largest forested freshwater wetland on the Delmarva Peninsula. So what used to be about 60,000 acres of swampland is now confined to about 12,000 acres, of which we own and actively manage 10,700 acres.
It's a daunting task to manage so much, but you're doing it, and you're doing it very well, to the point that you've got some species of plants that are coming back that are only found right here.
That's true, yes. So the climbing fern, which we went and saw today, is one of those species only found in the Great Cypress Swamp. We worked recently to do a botanical survey where we looked at species from the mid to late 90s and did that survey again recently, and based on our restoration efforts, we saw a 142% increase in the species that are here and existing in the swamp, just like the climbing fern.
And in order to help continue the process of protection that you guys are implementing, you need some financial help because you are a nonprofit organization.
We do, yes. We are small but mighty. We have about 7 staff, and collectively across the state, we've got almost 22,000 acres of land that we manage. Approximately a quarter of our revenue sources are from the lands that we work with our farmers and our hunters and our trappers. We generate income from leases with those individuals. And then the rest of the income that we have is from private donations, fundraising campaigns that we do, and then even grants that we seek. So we saw some of those properties those projects today where we used grant funding to be able to restore the swamp.
Learning about where we live, work, and play is the first step to ensuring us that this place we call home remains home.
And I have a feeling that Marcia and her team have a lot more lessons for us in the future. But coming up after the break, we'll check out your latest photos. Stick around.
You're watching Outdoors Delmarva, presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. And now, here are Jason Lee and Lauren Hitch.
It's time to flip through the photo album and take a look at your latest pictures.
Thanks to our friends at North Bay Marina.
Michael, Mackenzie, and Madison Willie of Cambridge did not mess around when it came to big buck harvesting this year. Super impressive work, you three.
Brandon Perry of Whaleyville harvested his first buck with his 308, and we're honored that he shared this memory with us.
14-year-old Leighton Hughes took down not 1, but 2 sika in the Dorchester County area. And I'm just going to sit over here and be jealous for a bit.
8-year-old Beckett Ward got his first deer, also in the Dorchester County area. And with a buck that big, we might all be a little jealous for a bit.
14-year-old Chris Griffin of Newark harvested one of the biggest 6-pointers we've ever seen. Nice job, Chris.
Liam Garvey of Preston harvested this awesome 8-pointer, and we hope that's just a taste of things to come from him.
Amanda Sparacino of Newark harvested this 9-pointer back in early December. Well done, Amanda.
Bo Reeder of Atlantic Virginia said, "Let me show you what we're growing down here in Accomack County." We see you, Bo.
14-year-old Maddie Shortall of Easton said Talbot County has entered the chat with this hefty 9-pointer.
And Jeff Cusick of Preston caught a flyby of a bald eagle at his home on a trail cam.
Outdoors Delmarva viewer pictures are sponsored by North Bay Marina.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Keep sending in those wonderful viewer photos by going to outdoorsdelmarva.com and clicking the banner at the top of the page, or you can scan the QR code in the bottom corner of your screen.
We do hope that you'll continue to enjoy the wonders of wintertime here on Delmarva, and we hope that you'll join us right back here again next week. But until then, my name is Jason Lee.
And I'm Lauren Hitch, and we hope to see you Outdoors Delmarva.
Outdoors Delmarva, a Draper Media production, is presented by Gateway Subaru. Higher standards. Sponsored by Shorts Marine, Bell Creek Equipment, and Range Time.
We're introducing you to a young lady. She got lungs.
A young lady.
She got lots of lungs.
A young lady.
Yeah, she a young lady. We're introducing you to a young lady who is, oh my God, why can't I say this? It's not even hard. We're introducing you, oh my God.